time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure, so let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by
PSE Archery, Yamaha Outboards, Better the Hunt, Easy Cut, Packer Max, Deer Camp Coffee, Buck Baits, JPO Game Calls, Limwalker Game Calls, Wyld Seasoning, Total Peep, Sunrise Archery, Scent Lock, and Scent Blocker.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFaw. We're almost through another week. It's June.
Yes, we are.
It's hot. I don't know. I mean, what more?
It seems like August.
It does seem like August.
It's got that humidity in the air.
It does.
It's like, ew.
We need a soft drink, and we need to be sitting by the grill doing some grilling. Speaking of that, I think that's what we're going to talk about
We're
tonight.
going to talk about, yeah, that's one of the stops we'll be talking about tonight. No doubt about it. But before we get to that, I think we need to talk about our supporters.
That's right.
Absolutely. Nothing like our folks going out to help our supporters that help us. First stop we're going to talk about is none other than Buck Baits. That's right, folks. Just a few short months, and it's going to be bow season. Any kind of season. September is quickly approaching, even August. But you can go over to buckbaits.com and use the promo code UNJ20 and get 20% off your order when you check out over there. And Packer Max. Got to do your fall plus, so you might want to get over to talk to Lincoln. Get your order in early because he is busy. Get $25 off your order at UNJ25. Give him a shout at packermax.com. Nothing better than JPO Game Calls. That's right, folks. Deer grunt tubes. That's right. Hunting season. A few short months. Got to give them a call. Go over to jpogamecalls.com. Use the promo code UNJ10 for 10% off your order. And Wyld Seasoning. Father's Day, fast approaching. Get your order in now. Use the promo code UNJ2021 and you'll get 10% in your order when you check out. And last but not least, like Mike said, a nice, cool iced coffee.
Do I not have that one?
You should.
I don't think I do.
Oh,
Danny's slipping. He's got to send me some more promo codes.
I know, right? Go over to deercampcoffee.com. Use the promo code UNJ10. Get 10% off your order. Check out the cold brew system.
Well, I've got my hot brew here right now. So.
You do.
So what better thing? We don't need a slide. I'll just show it to you live.
Right.
Well, you know what I want to know, Danny? I want to know what's going on up north. You got a picture for me tonight?
I do. It is, right now, it is 75 degrees up in Newberry. I tell you what, folks, you get up to Newberry, go check out the pizza at Cedars. And they also got Deer Camp Coffee there. Right now it's 75 degrees. I checked it out. So they're probably just as warm as we are down here up there.
So big shout out to FM 123 up there in Newberry that carries the Up North Journal podcast.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, one of our supporters is here with us tonight.
Absolutely. None other than the one and only Dave Bouska from Wyld Seasoning.
Hey, Dave, how's it going?
Hey, man, how y'all doing? Mike, Danny, appreciate the invite to come on and get to talk with y'all.
Man, it's hot. It's hotter than blue blazes, but I have a feeling it's probably hotter out there where you're at.
Yeah, it's mid-90s right now. Heat index is well above 100 already.
Man, it sounds like you guys are barbecuing already. Everybody got their barbecues going out there to crank that heat up, or what? Jeez, oh, Pete's.
Yeah, this is smokeless is what this is.
The smokeless barbecue in the whole state of Oklahoma. Yeah. Wow. Well, keep it out that way. Please, don't send it this way. We got to shoot tack this weekend. Actually, Billy Hoffman, who's watching, he said it's tack this weekend. Yes, it is. And Danny and I will be on the mountain.
Saturday morning,
yeah.
11 o'clock. I think we're doing the Yeti course.
Yeah, and actually, John Dudley's there with the Knock On Nation trailer. So
yeah,
spreading the good word about PSE Archery. Which, if I remember right, you shoot PSE, don't you, David? We talked about this last, I think.
Yeah, I shoot a couple different ones. I think I'm down to 5 bows right now. But yes, PSE is my bow of choice.
All right, only 5.
Right?
We got to do something about that. We got to get him some more.
Yeah, that always helps.
I like the way you think.
Hey, well, you know what? We got you on tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the seasonings that you provide, maybe some of the sauces. But before the show, actually via email, we were talking back and forth. You know, deer season is not that far away, and you wanted to talk about making some certain cuts of meat and how to utilize your deer and how to make those cuts. You're a butcher. You grew up through that whole line of that job, and you know how to process meat. So what better person to talk to about cutting up a deer and getting it from the field to home to put it on that grill or put it in the oven or in some stew or whatever than you? I'm just going to throw it to you, man. Take it away. You tell us how are we going to do that?
Well, I think first and foremost is you've got to take care of the meat that is being harvested from the beginning. That's the number one trick, the number one key, whatever you want to call it. I always suggest to new hunters, to seasoned hunters, whatever you want to call it. Do you like my little play there when I said seasoned?
I like that.
Pretty good.
That is good.
I'm going to be right in with you guys.
He's going to take this show on the road.
Right?
But is after you shoot the animal and you're going to open it up and gut it, take the paunch out and everything. If you keep a couple of milk jugs full of water, if you'll just wash that out, that is the biggest thing you can do is get that inside out and get it rinsed. If you're not going to take the meat immediately and start skinning it, if you're going to take it to a processor, I would recommend leaving the skin on it all the way and let them take care of it. There's been nothing worse than us to get some deer that's come in from Colorado or other places. And I know you say, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave that skin on it. If you'll pack that chest cavity and with ice, and we get a lot of it packed with snow coming from other states, and then put a bag of ice in between the back legs, you will chill it down, and then that skin actually will reverse. And not only does the skin keep the animal warm whenever it's cold out, it will keep the meat cold when you're traveling. So you let that pelt do its job, and it will keep it cold. And the reason I say leave the skin on is there's nothing worse than having to pick off pine needles, bark, sand, everything that just won't wash off from the meat, because we want you to get it back in good shape too. There's not a meat cutter out there or a butcher out there that gets a wild game and says, well, they're going to get it back just like they give it to me. No, our name is stamped on that label and it's on that. We want you to get it back and make it edible, because ultimately we want your business back. And if we don't get your business back, that means you didn't get to go hunt. And if you don't get to go hunting, neither one of us have fun. I don't get to make money, the wife doesn't make money, and you don't get to go hunting. So let's take care of it. Let's get it chilled immediately and bring it in as whole as possible. If there's just absolutely no way, and you have to skin it in camp, and you're going to be a week out there, and you have to put it in an ice chest, put about a third full of water, and put a cup of just non-iodized, just regular table salt in the water. Then put your meat down in there, and then finish filling it with ice. And what that does, it starts an osmosis process. And that salty water will draw the blood, the rancid blood, out of that meat. And it will definitely make it more tasty. Will it tenderize it? There's not any real science behind that, but some folks says it does. But it'll definitely pull that wild game out of that meat through an osmosis process. And then it definitely, there again goes back to what I said, makes a better plate when you're trying to serve it. So that's the biggest key effects that I can say that a hunter can do to help their self out down the road. If you're going to be hunting close to home, get it to your processor and let them get it taken care of as quick as you can.
Okay, so basically the pelt on the animal is like a cooler. It keeps the hot out and the cold in if you got the cold packed in there, just like you were saying.
Absolutely it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's I never really thought of it that way. I mean, it does. It keeps them warm in the winter, so why wouldn't it keep it cooler inside when you wrap it up and seal it, or not seal it, but kind of bind it together?
It's a free insulation.
Right. It's got its own insulator. So and something you're talking about too, the salt bringing out that blood. It's going to turn that meat. It's not going to be as red because it's pulling the blood out. So it's like you see in the store, and people, they might get a little turned off because it's like, oh, that meat's brown or grayish looking. That's because the blood's coming out, right?
Well, no. What the reason that the meat looks brown in stores, it's going through its natural deal, and oxygen has already reached the blood, and it changes its colors.
Okay.
It's an oxidation process is the reason meat turns brown. But what it does in the coolers, and I honestly, I'd say change it out about every 3 days. Don't let it set for a week at a time. If you have to, you can do it every 2 days, and you'll be in real good shape also.
Okay.
When I say changed out the salt water. And then you'll eventually see after, if you're at camp for a week and everything, you're going to see that the ice chest will quit getting as bloody looking. It won't be as red water. And I don't want to make it sound morbid, but it's not blood. Mm-hmm. At that point, it's no longer blood. It's called myoglobin.
Okay.
Blood is an item that's in a live product or a live person, live animal, a live whatever, and it's got carbon dioxide and it's got all the everything flowing through it. Once the animal has been killed, it is classified myoglobin because it's no longer a flowing agent. Okay. So we don't want. We've been instructed by our national governing bodies to quit calling things with blood in it because it gives the avenues for tree lovers and non-hunters to have things to battle against and start calling things, well, it's bloody, why do y'all want to eat this? So start calling it myoglobin, mm-hmm. and then it's a better sound is what it is, because it is a different product.
Okay.
You don't give them the ammo to use against you.
There you go.
That's a great way to say it. Yeah. You take that away from them. Yeah.
It's one less thing they can come back and say, boy, that's some ugly myoglobin.
Well, and what you had mentioned about taking the meat and putting it in that salt water, especially, I'm not going to get up on my political soapbox
Don't do
right
it
now, but, out where you're at, I imagine you get deer coming out of Colorado, other states that has that dirty 3-letter acronym, CWD, where they have to pretty much debone the animal. So that gives them another option of getting that meat home to where they can take it to, maybe they're going to have you turn it into summer sausage or something like that. But that way they can get everything back to their home state in a safe manner.
And I'm going to stand here, and I hope someone can correct me on this. I'm not sure you can even bring that from an infected county back into Oklahoma.
Okay. Maybe Oklahoma might be different.
Yeah, I don't know if that's fact or not. So, but exactly what you're saying, you're absolutely right. Remove the spinal, take care of all the glands, and yes, you're absolutely right.
You got to clean out the skull, and you got to...
Yeah, there's so many things you got to do.
Right, debone the meat, clean out the skull, no spinal cord.
Yeah.
It's got to be all...
Well, it doesn't even matter. Like here in Michigan, we're not even allowed to bring anything back from any other state that's not deboned. When I hunt in Indiana, I got shot a doe down there 2 years ago, and I had to process all of my meat. Right, we did everything right there on site. Luckily, we had the facilities to do it, and I took and cleaned all my meat, cut it all up, deboned it, packaged it, put it in the freezer, had my cooler, and brought it home. But like you're saying, if people can't do that, they can at least debone it and bring back the bigger portions of meat and put it in that salt solution or salt water in their cooler and get it home.
Mike, I got a question for you on that.
Uh-huh.
Down here, whenever the hunters bring in elk and things of that from other states, the bull elks and that, they have to leave the proof of sex on the meat or in there. Is that something y'all have to take care of also?
When they're bringing, if somebody out there can correct me on this, but I do believe what we bring back. Proof of sex.
It used to be you had. I still don't know what the rule is.
Okay,
coming from another state.
So,
I know in state you got to have proof of sex.
So what do you have to do? Bring back the milk glands?
Well, you got to bring back something that proves it.
Tallywhacker.
Right?
You leave the tallywhacker.
Well, on a doe, they don't have those.
Well,
Right.
you have to write, but you wouldn't have a tag for that.
No, I have a dough tag, so if that would be,
You'd have a dough
Yeah.
tag.
be legit. So
Right. So so something like that. I do believe, if I remember right, you still have to have proof of sex. Because if they do, and you got a dough tag, it better be a doe.
right.
Yeah.
So and then, like you said, going that extra step with CWD. Here you can't even go into the next county,
Yeah, there's certain counties you can't leave the county with it. You
Right,
know, it has
so-
to be deboned before you bring it back
or
home.
you got to take it to a processor that within that county. And I do believe if you want it also taxidermied, you got to have it done in that state.
Or you have to bring it back a clean skull.
Right.
So yeah, basically
Yeah.
you're already
I heard both.
you're already getting that part of it done to bring it back. So
Right.
it's a mess. I mean, especially for you guys. I mean, you don't have that in your state, I assume. CWD, do you?
Seems like, I'm trying to think here. Seems like, well, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. It's
Okay.
been a couple of since I've done a lot of hard research on it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wondered, it's just something that we're all having to start to deal with. And everything is so different from one state to the other and even one county to the next. And honestly, I haven't really been up on it because I didn't hunt last year. And so I don't even know, if they've changed the rules or regs because I didn't get a book and I really wasn't up on it. So I have to do my due diligence, I guess.
As of right now, there are no cases of CWD ever found in free-range elk in Oklahoma.
Good deal. I'll tell you what, we're bumping up here on our first break. We come back. We got that meat back home now, and we're going to cut that up. I know you kind of want to talk about maybe doing a little bit of different cuts and how to use that. So let's cover that when we get back. So let's step outside real quick, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible.
By basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back, second segment of the show. Okay, so we've got our deer, we've got it in the cooler, whether it's whole and we've got the bag of ice in it, we're bringing it back to Dave's place and he's going to butcher it for us, or whether we're going to take it home and do it ourselves, or maybe it's in that salt water. David, once we get to that point, I know you wanted to talk about, a lot of guys, they don't know what to do with it. Like you said before the show, back straps, roast,
Hamburger,
and grind it. But there's much more to a deer than just those things.
Oh, absolutely there is. But let's start with the backstrap.
Okay.
That's the most common. That's the best, or the most well-known cut coming off of the venison will be that. So on the backstrap, you've got it's a long, slender piece, and on one end, we're going to call it. It comes off right where the chuck roast connects to it, the front shoulder. And that is where the ribeye steaks would be on beef. So you can actually cut those about an inch thick, butterfly them open, and you can have some really nice steaks.
Okay.
But they can still taste like wild game if you haven't taken care of it. So there's some things that we can do to help with that. There's a lot of myths, and there's a lot of things that actually work with that. You can soak your back straps in multiple things to help with that. One of the most common around here is buttermilk. If you soak your chops or your steaks in buttermilk, it will definitely lower down the wild game flavor, and that is a big plus. But one of the best things you can do with it is if you'll take that back strap, and I don't know how many you're feeding, but let's say this feeds for about 2 to 3 people in the family, so you can increase it if needed. Take one end of the back strap because it's a lean piece of meat and it can be kind of dry. So what we'll suggest doing is, let's just take this bottle. If this is the long back strap, let's come in here to one side and let's cut along a slit. If this is the depth, let's cut it about 2/3 of the way through it. Okay, and then what you can do is you can do things up inside that. Put something in that cavity. You can put fresh spinach. You can put some different herbs. You can put some cheeses. It's really, really good. Stuff it with some ricotta cheese and some, say like a spring mix, like a salad mix, and then really coat the outside with a lot of herbs and salt. The lean meat takes on salt a lot. It takes pepper and it goes really quick. Pepper gets, how can I say, the leaner the meat, the quicker pepper is absorbed into the meat.
Okay.
But salt is not, because there's not as much fat in that, so it doesn't absorb the sodium.
Okay.
So salt the inside, put a lot of herbs on the inside, and then you can either tie it or just lay it out on a grill and start cooking it. Cook it to a good medium temperature. I personally like venison to about 150 degrees. It just starts breaking down the connective tissues to make it tender, but it doesn't overcook it to where it's going to be dry. That's the biggest thing you can do with backstraps. Yeah, everybody can cut chops and everybody can grill them. You can do your favorite thing with that. Roast is another great big thing you can do. Take your front shoulder or your hind legs if you want a really nice roast. Coat the outside with mustard. It's absolutely crazy what the fresh prepared mustard will do to it. It will act as a tenderizer, and it will break that roast down, and it will make it so tender it will literally fall apart on you. So coat it in mustard, and it will go a long ways. And you can do a lot of stuff on the outside of that. Some people actually coat it with mayonnaise also, and the egg whites in the mayonnaise will help absorb and keep it moist as well as break it down. So there's a lot of tricks you can do like that with the roast. But the biggest thing is your ground meat. Everybody likes chili, good gravy. Who doesn't like a good venison chili? But if you're wanting to make a good grind and everything, make patties and everything, add some instant dried milk to your ground venison. What that does, that acts as a binder, because it's so lean, is it needs something to help hold together when you're going to make a patty. So add the dried milk, but what the dried milk does is it will also hold moisture. So while it's cooking, is it keeps moisture within that meat while it's being cooked, and it's used as a binder. So it's kind of a double hit whammy that it's just a hit. It works.
So you're taking that powdered milk in the powder form and just putting that powder on the meat and using that as the binder.
Yeah, let's say if you thaw out a pound of your ground venison, comes in a 1 pound chub, or you got it in a freezer paper wrap. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thaw it out, add your powdered milk to it. And I'd say in a pound of it and everything, I'd add probably about a third of a cup.
Okay.
And put it in like you do like a meatloaf, mix it in real well, and then go ahead and patty it up, put your seasonings on it, and start grilling it.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, I see the interesting part was about mayonnaise with you. You're not doing the mayonnaise thing.
No.
I'm just trying to visualize.
I'll do the mustard.
Doing the mustard thing, or even the mayonnaise, just as it goes, and then like Dave says, how it turns out.
So we're just talking about yellow mustard.
Yes. Just go to the store, the cheap 89-cent squeezed bottle of mustard, put it all over a roast. And I did a test on that several years ago. I was cutting some boneless chuck roast, and I took brother and sister right beside each other. So I had an exact like item. I put mustard on one, and I did not put mustard on the other. And I put them in the oven same time, pulled them out at the same time. And the one that had the mustard, it fell apart. It was crazy. Yes.
Okay,
gotta try it.
You learn something new every day. Poor Tammy's drooling over there. We're drooling. Man, geez, oh, Pete, this guy's talking about. Especially, he had me at butterflying and putting cheese in it. Oh, I'm in. Holy cow!
And if you thin cut the butterflies, and I'm talking thin cut, okay, you can stuff so much. And I don't want to sound wrong, but you take your burger. This is what's really great: is take your burger and everything, make some chili. Okay, let it cool down, and then put some of the cooked chili in the middle of that back strap, and run some toothpicks through it, and then go out and grill that. The seasonings from that chili will go right through that, and you'll get the grill flavor on the outside, and then all that great chili flavor throughout that back strap. It's amazing the flavors you can get that way.
Why do we not live out there near him?
You wanted to send me down to him. I'm going.
No, we're going to bring him up here.
Oh, okay. Holy cow. That is awesome.
Wow. I could just see when you're not doing anything, your normal stuff, you're probably out there just taking different meats and different seasonings and all kinds of different foods and just probably mixing it together and playing with it.
Yeah, see this cabinet right over here?
Yeah.
I would say the top 3 foot of it is nothing but test spices. I have got so much stuff that I test with, play with, something for new items. I'm going to move the screen just a little bit. I got to show y'all this, okay? This is crazy what I do.
There's the vault, the secret vault.
It is. You can't see it real good, but it is just full of just samples and tests and it's just all kinds of stuff up here. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, that leads me into the next question. You led right into my next question that I didn't get to ask you last time. But on the website, anybody can go to at wildseasoning.com.
Call it up there.
It's up there. You've got Desert Dust. You've got Campground Seasoning. You've got the Cabin Chili Mix. The question I have is, Desert Dust, roughly, how long did it take for you to say, this is Desert Dust? Was it like a one and done, or was it a close, but no, not going to do it? Or, how long did it take to develop these? This that's what interested me.
I would say an average of all my spices through the Butcher Barbecue, through the Wyld seasoning, I'd say the average is 4, maybe 5 mixes. I buy so much stuff. I've got a large warehouse here, and we ship a lot of product. We own a lot of product. I'd like to ship a little more. But in this particular item, the Desert Dust, I called my packer and I said, hey, I named off some of the items I want. And they sent it to me. Usually it's a couple pound bags of each. And then you can set and blend them together. And so I was close on that one, but there's always a change whenever it goes to bulk mixing. When you start, your first test batch is usually about anywhere from 5 to 25 pounds. And then we mix it in 500-pound batches. So in that size of a batch, it can change. Absolutely, it can change. I work with some really great packers that are as adamant as I am about, we don't change brands of sugars, we don't change the salts, we don't change the peppers, the different celeries, because the different size of granulars will change the way it comes onto your tongue. If you take like the Wyld Addiction, there's 2 types of salt in that. There's the table ground salt, and then there's flake salt. And the reason so is that when you use this on a backstrap or a chop or something like that, is the table grind salt will melt and go straight in and start flavoring the inside and pulling the moisture. Well, the flat salt remains on the outside. So when you take a bite of it, you're going to get a salty flavor, but it goes away quick because it's just an element of the rest of the flavors. So it's all in also how you want it to land on your palate. The Desert Dust, it's got a citrus background or back flavor, and you do the same thing with heat, different peppers. Black pepper is a medium pepper. Bell pepper is a pepper, but it's very, very mild. You won't ever taste it other than the sweetness of bell pepper. Then white pepper is the outer shell of black pepper. It's the outer hull. And what white pepper does is when you add that to a spice, is the black pepper will hit you right up front, but the white part of it, the white pepper granulars, when you go to eating it, it's what they call back of the throat. It takes 10, 15, 20 seconds for that pepper flavor, the heat, to hit you. And so you're like, oh, wow, that's got a good flavor. And you're eating, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm getting a little bit more now. That's what it is. They've layered the different kinds of peppers in there. To a jalapeno, it's on the front side. It slams you right in the face, and that heat is right up front. I'm not a fan of that kind of heat. I like the flavor of the product and then have the heat come on as a flavor. But that's the way we do it with the Desert Dust, is it has a citrus background, and that's how I like to have that. But you layer it with the different grinds and the different elements within the grind itself.
Well, that just was, I got that up on the screen, the jalapeno and bacon flavor. I just wondered, was the first test batch a little too much jalapeno at the first time, and you're running around trying to grab milk or something to cool it off?
No, because that right there is more of a summer sausage type mix. If you'll look at it, that's the jalapeno bacon summer sausage mix. And how I tested with that was I took ground beef and ground pork, and I actually made meatballs with them and cooked them to where I could get a real quick flavor without having to go through the cure and the smoke and all that. Because smoke is just a flavor. It's just how much of it do you like and when do you want it on your palate, which is when do you impart it into your cook. And I didn't want to taste the smoke flavor. I wanted the taste of the spice when I was making it. So, and that's how I tell people to grill is you can get a grill flavor coming off of your stove, but you like the flavor of charcoal, you like the flavor of wood, the smoke, and some people like a lot of it. You ever go to a restaurant and they have live fire cooking, and an hour later you walk away and you're still burping and you're like, golly, there's a lot of smoke in that, a lot of that flavor. What you ended up doing was eating a lot of creosote when it was being cooked. And so that means they're putting it on from the beginning to the end of the cook cycle, and they're not letting the rest of the food, the meat, the flavors of that they want to be a part of the plate. So that's part of what you can do when you do your spices, and that's how I did that.
Well, we got a question here, and I mean it's kind of taking us away from deer we're talking about. But Tammy wants to know, what would you suggest for fish that has no lemon or citrus, and why is citrus always used in flavoring fish? And, you know, we talked about this before the show tonight, actually.
Yeah, well, to be blunt, the reason citrus is used on fish is fish has a natural occurring product called amine. When you add the citrus to it, it becomes a salt. And what that does, it's kind of like ammonium. And what that does, it occurs naturally whenever seafood starts to deteriorate. The amine starts to become more prevalent. It's that ammonia flavor that you get with some of the other animals that starts to get old. Mm-hmm. In fish, you get that fishy smell. So citrus and that was added to a lot of the cooking to tone that down to where that smell wasn't as large. But then it became a prevalent flavor because that smell is on your palate when you're eating and it's up into your nose. So that's about all that you taste is that fish flavor. So they had to also add that lemon flavor to give it a larger flavor other than just the fish.
Okay.
All right.
Well, what have you got that you would try? Have you put any of this on fish? I mean, I've got one that I kind of think of in mind, but I mean, I know you mainly deal with, you know, barbecuing and things of that nature, but what would you suggest to use on a fish?
The mountain stream was designed for fish. It's got herbs, it's got rosemary, it's got a lot of the things that'll work great on trout. It'll work awesome on pike. A lot of the oilier fish, that'll be great on. I'd love it. And honestly, the white fish, the that you can pick up, I really think that a combination of the desert dust and the campground seasoning is phenomenal. The campground seasoning is a hickory flavored seasoned salt. Okay. And I really think that goes extremely well with the desert dust on a very delicate light fish.
Okay.
Yeah, I used I did some fish with Erica, and we did desert.
Okay.
I actually did it plain, and then I was divvying up my fish and just going down the line and checking which one.
Okay. Yeah. Or you want to put some heat to it, put some of the habanero mango on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
And I think I used the mountain stream on the vegetables. I think I put it on my vegetables.
Well, I know Nancy and I, we've tried. Like, we'll make vegetables one night and we'll put one thing on it, then we'll turn around and put something else on it. We've experimented with all different kinds of stuff, and I've never really run across a combination that I said, you know, I won't do that again. Everything we've used is like it's a different flavor, like you said, a different type of seasons that are in there. It makes it different each and every time.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about your stuff.
And it'll change even as you, we was talking about the venison. If you do turkey hunting, any big game, add this product to it prior to freezing. Let it sit in your refrigerator 24 hours before you freeze it with this spices on it. And what that does, it allows the spices, because you have to remember this is all dried crystals. It's got to rehydrate to be able to soak into the meat. So if you let it soak in and then freeze it, it will be so much a bigger flavor. Then whenever you pull it out to either grill or to roast or do something, that flavor is all the way through the meat, the muscle itself.
Would it help to also maybe vacuum pack the item?
Absolutely it will. I mean, you won't get a large, like a vacuum tumbler, it assists it more, but the vacuum, it'll open up just the outside pores just a little bit. But yes, absolutely it will assist with it.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm still hungry.
All right. Well, I tell you what, we've went a little long in this segment here, so we're going to step outside, take another break. We'll be back with more of the processing and grilling and seasonings here in just a minute. We got to pay a few bills. We're going to step outside. Be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
All right, third segment. The people on the podcast, you gotta watch the live stream.
You do. You gotta watch the live stream, whether it's on Facebook or when we replay it on YouTube, because whatever in the break is priceless.
Well, we just found out something, and I'm not going to give it away, but I am going to take part of that, and I'm going to ask a question here. You were talking about when you do competitions, you might take, when you're preparing something for a competition or experimenting, you might take a bite of something, you might swallow it, and you might not. So in between, if we're eating something and we've got different seasonings on, like say the meat, the vegetables, maybe something on the potato, what do you do to cleanse your palate when you're doing the testing? It's something we should do maybe so we get that full impact of that season when going from one thing to the next.
In competition, they drink water and eat crackers. It's very plain. There's not a lot to it. But what I would suggest, if you're trying to fix a meal, that's what we're trying to get across, is how easy it is to use Wildgame in products, is you need to have the neutral flavor in there. And that's the reason potato salad and coleslaw goes a long ways with grilling and stuff like that, is it cleans the palate. The creaminess of the two of them will clean that palate and allow the next bite to taste better or taste as good as the first bite. Because how many times have you ate pizza and you are on the third, the fourth, the fifth slice of pizza, and it just doesn't have that pow, that zip? That's because your mouth is so coated with it. But if you used to clean it all out and start all over, it would be. So don't make everything you cook for your cookout so full of flavor. Keep something simple and make sure all your guests do get a spoonful of it, because that's why it's there, like creme fraiche or something like that. That's the reason dessert is always the big hit, is it's a sweet flavor, and most dishes are not sweet. They're savory or spicy. So the sweet is a whole new flavor, and when it hits the palate, it's a new flavor enhanced.
Wow. And I just thought I had the potato salad there because it was good.
Well, I was thinking coleslaw.
Now it probably is. See, in our restaurant, we looked at every single possible thing to make it special. We even smoked, for testing, we smoked our cabbage one time. We wanted smoked coleslaw. And I'll tell you, it was amazing to eat. We loved it. But we didn't want everything on the plate to be smoky. So that's why we stuck with the traditional type coleslaw, is for that very reason. We needed something for them to where when they picked up a rib again to eat, they knew it would be, they knew they were eating something that had been smoked.
Well, actually, Terry just said it's like ginger when you have sushi. Same thing, I guess. Cleanses the palate.
That's right.
Interesting. Okay, I learned something new tonight. I learned a lot of new things tonight, actually.
Cleansing our palate.
There you go. All right, so, one thing we haven't talked about on the deer yet, and I want to get your input on, because it's something I've always been interested in, but never knew how to go about preparing it. And a lot of people just discard it because there's not a lot of meat there, is the ribs. What do we do with the ribs?
Generally, there's not a lot to do with a lot of the ribs, because that's where the 13 shots of the bullets have went.
He's talking about you shooting.
Not me.
That is a great answer.
Not counting the two in the hind quarter. We're just talking about the ribs here.
That is a great answer, man.
That was good. Not gonna lie.
Generally, the ribs are tore all up. But if they're not, you can leave along the belly area, closer to the chest part. That is where you'd be getting spare ribs off of pork. So if you let that belly meat on there, you would have something that you could grill, because it would be meat. But there's not a lot of meat on a venison chest cavity, but you can do something with it, yes.
Okay, I just wondered. Mine generally has 2 holes, an entry and an exit one. That's it. Well, that leads me to the question of either A, y'all use a lot of shotguns out there with buckshot, or B, y'all are just bad shots.
How about shotgun is used, but it's not regulated. There's a lot of 2.43s and double aughts and 30-06s, and they like to. We're not open plain here. There's a lot of tree stand. There's a lot of that, and they do empty the cartridge. Yes,
it says usual 3 shots. Here he comes. There he is, and there he goes.
That's right. One more just because he's down and walking out.
Well, there's some out there that believe you keep shooting till it's not moving.
Yeah, and one more for good measure afterwards.
And it kind of scares you when you hear that theory. Trust me.
Oh my!
You know how that works. But that's one of the things. Like he's saying, these different parts of the. It sounds like Dave just sits there and goes, "Let's try this."
Yeah, right.
And I can only imagine what people look like he's doing in the kitchen, going, "Uh-oh, what's he up to now?" And they'd probably just back off and let him go.
Okay, I want to throw one at you here. It's a little different. Deer heart. What do you do with that?
If you soak it, cut the ventricles out of it, it actually will cook very well. I mean, it's just a muscle. You have to keep that in mind. It's just a muscle. We've sliced up a lot of it. Those that don't destroy it, it can be ate. There's no doubt. I'm not a fan of the liver at all. Most of the time, that's completely damaged. But most of the time, the liver is very strong, very stout. I'll get a few people that will want it, regardless of what it's like, because they actually use it for fish bait. So we've had that. Yeah.
Okay. And let's throw another crazy one at you. How about tongue?
I've never harvested or never been asked to pull the tongue out of venison.
Okay, well, they take it out normally out of what, beef?
Yeah.
Okay, how does people prepare that?
Oh, you can cook it. It's got a real thick skin on it. You can smoke it, you can bake it, and then you can peel it before. But generally, I've left it on, and I'll just smoke it and slice it. I mean, it's just a muscle. It's a very dark muscle, and that gets into the actual science of it because there's a lot of blood that runs through it. But it's just a muscle. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very edible.
I don't know. I've always had this vision that I don't want to eat I don't want to taste anything that's tasting me on the way down. So, and one last one I can think of right offhand, because I've actually helped people field dress deer before, and they've never really thought about it and didn't go that deep into it, is the inner tenderloin. It's a small piece of meat, very small, very short, and depending on how people field dress their deer, a lot of them ruin it because they spill the guts. But if we get that out safely and clean, what would be your preferred way of fixing that?
Medium. Braise it. I like a good sear on the outside, very quick. If you take the Wild Addiction and or the Timberline rub, put that on there and sear it, roll it over live fire, roll it over a cast iron skillet, because what that is equivalent to what it is in beef, because people recognize the cuts in beef, is the tenderloin, the filet mignon. Right. So when you say it like that, they'll go, oh, okay, it's very lean. It is extremely tender. And the reason it's tender is it's classified a dormant muscle. It never moves. What it does, it just grows naturally. Because the animal doesn't bend its back this way. It only bends it this way. So that's why the back strap is grown, but it's still more tender. But the inside, the tenderloin itself is a dormant growing muscle, but it needs to be cooked on the outside very quick, or you will lose what little juices there is very quickly.
Okay, yeah. And I know when we pull ours out, you don't need to cut it out. You can just take your fingers and actually work it and pull it right out. It's so tender.
Take a little butter and a skillet, put it in, roll it, and you're done. Oxtails?
Okay, yeah. It's a soup item for me.
Soup item, okay.
That's a soup item for me. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to see you making soup out of whitetail tails.
Right? No. And another question, do you have any advice for using an air fryer?
It makes great French fries and baked potatoes. Now, my wife, we have one and everything. Our kids have one. We actually use it a lot for that very reason. Instead of busting out grease and oil in a skillet, we'll air fry something in the vegetable world, get it cooked. I can't say I'm a fan of protein cooked in it.
Okay. Nope, that's fair. That's perfect clear. That came from Mark Coleman.
The one thing I've cooked in protein-wise is chicken. Yep. I've done chicken. I'll season it and throw it in there real quick. I'm just trying to stay away from, or I'll grill it. I mean, that's my preferred method, but I'm trying to stay away from anything that I'm going to add or I'm going to fry.
Right.
You know, I don't want to deep fry anything. I just don't want to add any grease or oil to anything, and you know, trying to lose weight and stay healthy. That's really the only thing I've ever put in there. I think it's protein based is chicken.
Exactly.
You know, I'll bet some fish would be good in it.
I take that back. I have done fish. We've done fillets.
Okay.
Yes. My son's big into that.
With the airflow in it, that's what I was sitting there thinking is I can see the chicken being pretty juicy in it because it's got hot air, and then this air circulation is what'll seal that outside very quick. Mm-hmm. And I'll bet fish would do a real good job with that.
Yeah, he does a lot of like tilapia. He'll season that, but you know, and that's the one thing you just mentioned with the chicken. It does, and that's the first thing I noticed when I did chicken. It's a chicken breast, and the outside was I don't know if you call it dry or seared. And then when you cut into it, the juices just come flowing out of it. You know, it was really, it was good that way. But make sure you put some seasoning before you drop it in.
Right, absolutely. Charcoal or wood pellets?
I'm a pellet head. There's no doubt about it.
Why?
But I definitely have several charcoal grills. I've got the big old drum smokers. I've got a Weber sitting on my front desk. I've got another brand out there that's a charcoal pit. So no, I've got them absolutely.
So what's the benefit of a pellet, wood pellet, like those Traegers and stuff?
It's the ease of being able to cook very quick. What I hear more than anything is that, let's say if I'm not going to want to stereotype, but I'm going to stereotype.
Go right ahead.
Let's say the guy is known for, in a marriage, the guy is known for the outdoor cooker and the wife is known for the indoor cooker. Okay. It allows the female, the wife, to go out and flip a switch and she can start grilling. And grilling pellets is extremely easy to grill with.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Temperature and it's done. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I actually have a Blackstone. So, let's see.
All ladies send their emails to David at...
Right?
It is what it is, right?
Yeah, but it is. It's a fact. Most families, the guy is the charcoaler.
Yep.
You know, he's the outdoor cook, and why I don't know. They can't fry an egg in the house. Why are you going to give him a $35 steak to put outside?
Because fire's involved. You know,
on an inconsistent heat source. That there's a great chance that grate hasn't been cleaned since last summer, but we're gonna do this.
Right.
I don't understand the stereotype, but it's fact. It is.
All right. I'll tell you what. Let's take our last break. We come back. Let's talk a little bit about maybe doing some injection.
Yep.
And maybe some sauces and things of that nature. So we'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show, and man, this like we said in the commercial break, this went way too fast. It's when we start talking food, it's like all of a sudden we're at the end of the show and it's like, well, you know, you just want to keep going. But, you know, we kind of alluded to a couple things throughout the first three segments. And, you know, I've always, my mother, she would cook the deer meat but she couldn't stand the smell of it. And I think part of that is the processing and bringing it home and freezing it and all that, like we talked about before. But when you get it to that point and people still don't want to mess with maybe the taste of it even. We've talked about some of that, how you could cure that as well. But what about like maybe doing a marinade or an injection or using some kind of sauces with it? I mean, I know that you're a pit master, so what can we do in those situations? Maybe do something a little different.
Traditionally, if you're going to cook a loin off of venison, elk, nilgai, anything of that nature, antelope, that is stronger in flavor, you're going to not cook it well done. It's going to be dry. It's going to be cakey in the mouth. So injecting will alter the flavor, but it's not going to do the true purpose of injecting, which is adding moisture throughout the cook process. Okay. So there it goes back to marinating. Marinating, if you marinate something overnight in your refrigerator, believe it or not, you're only going to get maybe a 1/4 inch permeation into the muscle. So if you want a teriyaki flavor or if you want something like that, injecting is still be the best way to go. Yes. I would recommend injecting that. And then that opens up the door to a whole slew of flavors. There are so many different things you can do and go with. You can then turn around and say the shank meat, start doing something with the shank meat. It's just crazy what you could do if you want to start marinating and injecting. But that is absolutely a great way to do it. Yes.
Okay. It works for me. You just want free food, Mark Coleman says.
So
go ahead. That made me think of something real quick, and I haven't done this. Wow, I don't know why I haven't thought of this. I'm going to want to cure. I'd like to cure a back leg off of a venison, not for like a ham style, but more of a prosciutto. I want to dry it down, and I just wonder what that would do. If I'm sure it would make a ham. I mean, if we put the right cure to it, but I wonder what it would do. Drying it down, what it does when you dry the meat, like dry aged beef and stuff, you're allowing a lot of the moisture to be dissipated. So that intensifies the meat, because that's all that's left is the muscle fibers. The moisture's left, the muscle fibers. But by doing that with venison, you could be increasing the wild game flavor. So that's interesting. I wonder if you would be better off if you did a wet ham like you'd buy like at a grocery store, like a bone-in type ham with venison. Cure it that way and cook it.
Well, if that's what you just described, yeah. If you're intensifying it, you would intensify the wild gaminess to it. That's what you just explained, and then just thinking it through. That sounds about right. You would intensify.
I don't know if a prosciutto style ham would be very tasty that way, but it would definitely be interesting. This is something quick to add, that if you want to do something really great, take your venison roast, pocket it like what I talked about, and put a lot of the herbs and stuff inside it. Go get some fresh pork belly, start wrapping it around the outside. You can get a pork loin and do the same thing. You can get some beef fat and put a layer of beef fat in it, and then put pork belly around it, tie it, and then cook it as a roll. I'm sure that the flavor would be all the way through it. You can layer some of the flavors like the herb and tomato bratwurst mix. That would be really good in with all that. There's just so many different meals you can make and allow the hunter to leave your domain a little more often and go hunting.
I like
Right? Tammy said that she's had venison ham several times and she cooked it similar to corned beef. So she cooked it.
Okay, so it was cured, cooked it like corned beef. So, hey, jump back in with this answer. You cooked it like corned beef. So did you do like a New England boil with the cabbage and the potatoes and all that? Or did you just cook it like a corned beef brisket?
Like in the oven?
Itself? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if she answers. Okay, so another question. 3/4 inch thick steak of beef and a 3/4 inch steak of venison. Are they the same temperatures for medium rare?
Medium rare, yes.
They are. So you would cook them the same way to get them to medium rare?
Yes, 135
okay.
is going to be the average. 140 if you really don't like myoglobin.
Right, exactly. It's the myoglobin you don't see.
That's right.
Some people don't
That's
like
right.
it. So so there you go, Terry. You cook them the same to about 135, and then there you go. They cook the same.
And humidity makes all the difference. Oh, go ahead.
She said no cabbage, just like a brisket.
Okay. So it was cooked like a corned beef brisket, so it was probably moist. It wasn't dry. Okay. She never did ask, so throw that back out there. Was it good? I'd like to know.
All right, Tim.
You know?
We all know. Was it good and moist?
Yeah, was it good and moist? Did you get a pure salty flavor with it? Did it have the venison flavor? That's what I'm trying to find out. What did you get out of the curing process in your venison? See, we're gonna make Tammy the guest.
There we go.
Right.
Dial her up. We'll put her on.
We'll put her on. And that's one of the things is like you said, a venison ham as opposed to a corned beef, and how you cook it. Because I do the New England style. Man, is that good. Ooh. Moist and juicy is the answer.
Okay.
So she was happy with it.
There you go.
Well, good. Yeah, it absolutely sounds like it. Well, that's interesting. That's something I may have to dive into. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're talking about all this cooking. We're talking about all these seasonings and getting ready. We got, not this weekend, but next weekend is Father's Day. I think what better way to get Pop out there on the grill than get him some wild seasoning. And I'm going to give you the opportunity, where can people go to find your products?
Well, if you go to Wyld Seasoning, and it's WYLD, wildseasoning.com, we do have the 10% discount, as you alluded on the first of the show. But for Father's Day, we've also lowered the cost $1 a jar across the board on the website. Anything you go in there and look at, it's $1 cheaper than it was this time last week. Plus, your listeners get to save 10%.
Wow.
There you go, folks.
Right there.
Get your order
there.
Get your order in now. Got a great selection all the way through the website there. And if you want to pick up some casings for bratwurst or some summer sausage, she's got there on the website as too. So get your orders in. Don't be late for Father's Day.
Well, we get those seasonings in your house, get them ready, and then we got to get Dad out and get him to do, like you alluded to, some extra hunting this year, because we're going to have so much to cook, because everybody's going to love everything he cooks with these new seasonings and new tips and tricks that you have given us tonight. So that means more venison in the freezer.
I hope so.
It's
been a while.
And maybe we get an extra one this fall. We'll get you back, and we'll talk about making our own summer sausage, how we get that process going, because a lot of people would like to, but Danny and I have done it. It's not that hard, but I think people are kind of maybe a little scared to delve into that a little bit. It's not as tough as everybody thinks it is.
Yeah, it can be. You can be gun shy from it, because it's the unknown factor. But it's not brain surgery. I mean, it really isn't hard. It just, there's some steps that need to be taken place for safety. That's all. For if you use the cure pack properly, things of that. But yeah, it's not. It's a great item to, even after it's cooked, there's things you can do with summer sausage that you might not realize. Summer sausage is a flavor of a salami style, especially if you do a coarse grind. You take a summer sausage, slice it about 3/4 inch thick, put that out on the grill by itself. My goodness. And then just get the flavor of that going, put that on a bun. You don't need anything else. And then you go to adding the flavors that we've got here, the jalapeno and bacon flavor summer sausage, and then grill it after it's cooked. Say, pull a stick out of the freezer, slice it, put it out on the grill, and then do that along right beside your hamburgers. It's amazing the flavors that you can get back out of the summer sausage.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's great.
It never crossed my mind to put it on the grill.
Wow.
Never.
Guess what I'm going to be doing from now on.
Right? I tell you, one thing about making summer sausage and stuff, what I found, it's a great family thing to do. I taught my kids how to do it. I got one stuffing, I got one mixing. We all got into the kitchen together, and we had a little assembly line going, and I taught them how to do it. And Kelly and Gabby know how to make summer sausage. And it's just like a family thing to do.
The real fun thing to keep it in that family environment is bring in something that they like about it. Get a flavor like the sweet maple and bacon or the New Mexico hatch, but then ask them, what do you want to do to it? What do you want with it? Some people might want to add something completely different to it. They may say that if they're a fan of the, I don't know, let's say the the wild addiction, it's kind of got that garlic back tone to it. Maybe they want to take 5 pounds and do that, and then you can call that Tiffany's summer sausage. And then when you go to grill it, the wild addiction, the garlic will come alive on a grill over a live fire, and then it just completely changes it. Yeah, cut it long ways and then quarter it and put it on a hot dog bun and serve it that way. It just changes the whole outcome of an outdoor cooking setup. Yeah. Your neighbors are going to go, what is this on there? They're going to look at it and it's going to be shaped funny because it's going to be a triangular look, but they'll have no clue what you did, and they're going to be thinking hot dogs the whole time, and then it's not. It's going to blow their mind.
Wow. You just blew my mind.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, I got to make some summer sausage. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, speaking of venison summer sausage, out of a typical deer, let's say we get a nice big fat doe, and we wind up with 50 to 75 pounds of meat after it's deboned, an average doe. What are we going to get summer sausage wise? By the time we start mixing and using binders, pork with it, depending on the ratios, what typically can a person expect from an average doe, poundage wise?
Okay, and I'm going to kind of go both 2 ways here. First way is, say you save the standard meats. Let's say you save your back strap. Let's say you save your back legs to make roast out of, or are going to slice for jerky or whatever. So basically you got trimmings. I would say you're probably going to have a good 40 pounds of meat, of trimmings and stuff that you can still grind.
Okay. All right. So you're going to... How many people is that going to feed? I mean, once you get your sticks all made, I shouldn't say how many to feed because it depends on what you're going to eat. But how much summer sausage poundage wise are you going to wind up when you're done? Because I know obviously when the smoking process.
Yeah, cooked weight's going to be different than. I'm
just trying to equate it from like a deer in the field to on the table. How much do we have? Because I'm trying to figure out how many deer I need to take this year.
so in general, one deer could feed a family of 4.
Yeah, not my family.
Well, right.
But that's just a too open end. I'm sorry to be so blank.
No, it truthfully, because
there's just too many open scenarios. You don't know where it was shot at, number one. Okay. If it was shot absolutely perfect, right through the heart, one in, one out the other. But if it got on that rib cage, and let's just say what you even shot it with, if you shoot a 300 mag, it's going to bust right through. It's so smooth and clean. But if you shoot black powder, it's going to mutilate the exit hole. Black powder is the worst thing to try to clean up after it's been processed. Archery is easier to clean up after than black powder. So where it's hit, how much was it damaged? And just how much outside fat, because I'm not a fan of saving the fat off of venison. No. I'm not a fan of that at all. No. So man, there's just too many questions. I mean, too many scenarios that you could go through.
I'm gonna have to get a couple deer.
Just get a couple and we'll go from there.
All right. Yeah. We'll come up with something there.
So if you get into a pinch and you're out of summer sausage, my brother's come up with the solution. I see. You can always put. Where'd it go?
I'm here.
Hunter sausage.
Oh, hunter sausage.
The little sticks.
The little sticks on the grill.
On the grill.
Snack sticks.
Snack sticks. Thank you. I was looking for the word. I saw it. I tell you what, though, I never thought of cutting and putting it on the grill.
Me either. Never. It never crossed my mind. Never.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Especially if you're at camp.
Yeah, it'll never make it at camp. It's gone.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we've kind of crossed that hour threshold here. We've went a little long tonight, which that's all good because good information. I'm hungry now, as usual.
Tammy's gained 10 pounds listening. We've gained a few in the studio.
But, once again, we appreciate all the tips and techniques and things that you've given us. And once again, shout out to where people can go to get Wyld Seasoning, all the products that you have available.
Yeah, absolutely. We have our Facebook page, Wyld Seasoning. Look that up. We have Wyld Seasoning website, the WYLDSEASONING.com. We do have it on our other website, the Butcher Barbecue site. We have all of it listed there. But man, go on. The wildseasoning.com is where the coupons are good for. Go in there, place your orders. We don't have profit on our shipping. We charge $9.50 to ship. That's what FedEx charges us. That's what we charge you. It's not a market product. So get as much as you can, and we can ship it for $9.50. It doesn't matter if it's 20 pounds, 10 pounds, 50 pounds. We've got contracts with them, and we can ship it for $9.50 anywhere within the United States.
Now, is that the 48 contiguous, or is that all 50?
Yes.
All 50.
No, that's 48 continuous.
Okay.
It goes to like $10.50, but I just eat the dollar on that. We still have it at $9.50 on the website. Makes no difference.
Gotcha.
And generally, if it's less than 10 pounds, we'll do it in 2-day shipping. I'll get it to you in 2 days.
There you go.
And while you're on the website, go to the bottom of the website,
Here,
and he's got some tips and tricks on how to make summer sausage and how to make bratwurst sausage right there, right at the bottom. You click on there, it goes to the page, and it tells you how to make it right there in 12 easy steps.
Can't beat that.
And there's a PDF on the bottom of that. You can even print it out.
There you go, right there. PDF right at the bottom. You print it out, 12 easy steps. You can have your own summer sausage after you get your deer this year.
There you go.
Or go harvest your animal, send it to Mike, and he'll make it for you.
And I'll keep it.
I was going to say, it ain't if it's coming to Mike, it ain't leaving.
You're not getting it back.
For a small nominal fee of your deer.
Yeah, it'll stay here.
Right? So, Dave, it has been awesome to have you on the show. No doubt about it.
You know, and good luck to you this weekend. Or is it this weekend you're going to Kansas?
Yep. Leaving out, just in a few hours. I'm going to head on up.
You got everything ready to roll. Going to go over there and jump into competition. So, yeah, definitely let us know how you did. We want to hear back, and just drop us a line so we can give you a shout out here on the next show when we hear that you've won, probably yet again. So,
all right. Hey, I appreciate it. I want to say thanks to everybody for listening and the great questions you have. Folks, y'all are making what makes it fun for me. So, appreciate y'all.
Hey, I tell you what, hang on just a second after we get done here, and we'll chat for just a second. But for everybody out on the show and on the podcast, make sure you go over to Dave's Facebook page, go over to Wyld Seasoning, check out what they've got to offer over there. Give him a like, follow, share, check out his other social media. Are you on YouTube as well?
Wyld Seasoning's not on YouTube.
Okay.
We do have barbecue. Yes.
Okay, there you go. All right, so and make sure you go over to our social media sites as well, and as well as our YouTube page. Check out all the things we've got. Give us a like, follow, share as well. And if you're listening to the podcast over on iTunes, make sure that you give us a review. That helps us and also helps the people who support us. But that'll do it for us this week, folks. Y'all take care. And next week we have got...
We're hoping to have somebody from Yamaha.
Okay. Shout out to the guys from Yamaha today, man. They are crushing it on the walleye, the head-to-head walleye tour. If you guys are not watching it, go back and look at the link that we've got on our Up North Journal Facebook page. The 4 guys right now, we know that they're going to finish 1-2. There's a possibility they can finish 1, 2, 3, and 5. So the championship round is tomorrow. We'll probably have a link up on our page as well.
Absolutely. We'll get the link up. It'll be tomorrow morning, I think.
9 o'clock.
Yes, 9 o'clock our time.
And they fish from 9 to 2, 5 hours. Joe Okada, who we've interviewed, and Josh Blosser. So those guys have just crushed it all week. But big shout out to them, and hopefully next week we're going to have somebody on from Yamaha.
Yep.
All right. That'll do it for us this week, folks. Y'all take care, and we'll be back again next Thursday night.
This episode was brought to you by
PSE Archery, Yamaha Outboards, Better the Hunt, Easy Cut, Packer Max, Deer Camp Coffee, Buck Baits, JPO Game Calls, Limwalker Game Calls, Wyld Seasoning, Total Peep, Sunrise Archery, Scent Lock, and Scent Blocker.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.